sort of networking kit all in one. So let's get inside the box and see what's inside here and see what it's all about. Just zoom out a little bit. Please excuse the untidiness. When you open it up, there is a box and a booklet and a couple of other things which come in the box. So let's check it out and see how effective this unit would actually be for computer networking and the likes. Okay, the first thing to note is it does come in this handy little bag. And what is inside this bag? Let's take a look see. Firstly, we have the actual meter. This is a proper sort of cable meter. We'll go through the reasons why shortly. I have no idea how it works yet, but we'll figure it out. There you have your meter. It also comes with a probe for the tone function on the meter, so that you can test or trace cables with an LED torch, I see. It also comes with one of these wire map dongles. This is just for the other end of the cable for doing cable tracing, cable length tests, etc. I assume. A set of headphones, which are for plugging into the tone, so you don't have to and irritate everybody in an office, and a bunch of adapters for connecting in. So let's take a closer look now at the actual meter and how it works. Okay, the first bit of functionality we're going to look at is the wire mapping and testing functionality. So say for example you have a Cat5 cable. Obviously this isn't a full length, but a Cat5 cable you want to test. You basically connect this onto the Cat5 cable, or the Cat5 cable between these two devices. You can switch it on. As you can see, it's got a nice LCD display, like so. And then you can select wire map, and then it'll test all the cables, and there you have it. As you can see, main unit, this unit, and the remote unit, all cables are connected. Map path. Happy days. So there you go. You can also do pair and length. I'm not too familiar how to do that yet. We will figure that one out in due course. But for now, just that wire map functionality helps you check if your cable is good or not. And it'll actually report back to you if there's any faults in the cable, etc. So that's the most basic functionality of this unit. Now another rather important networking feature, which is actually really nice, is you switch the unit onto scanning, and you can use your tone probe. You push and hold this button to activate it, and then it does have a volume control over here. And there you go. That's the basic wire tracing functionality of the unit. And then of course I've shown you already the wire mapping, wire testing capability, where you'd connect the units together like so, and you can do a wire map test, and your results will be wrong connector, sorry, we need to go into the main on the top here, like so, otherwise it'll say no adapter like that. Push the wire map, remote found, cable is good. Happy days. So is a kit like this practical for a network installation technician, or maybe a network maintenance technician or something? Yes, very much so. The build quality is not incredibly bad. It's actually pretty decent considering the price level, and the functionality is quite good if you consider what you're all getting for the amount of money that you're spending. So yeah, let's just take a look at the box, and then I'll give my final conclusion on this device. Okay, first step is a standard cable test. So what we're going to do is we're just going to test this little piece of cable, which is one of the test cables that comes with it. To do this, we come here to the top of the unit, we plug in onto main, and we can plug into loop back if we want to just test a small piece of cable. Then we switch the unit on, and then you see you have wire map. You push this button for testing. It'll test all the pairs in there local found, and everything is fine. It's just flicking because this isn't a twisted pair cable. It's a flat cable, so all works, but you know, it'll give you an error. If you've tested a standard cable, I've checked, it doesn't give you that same error. Now, where things get interesting now is leave it on main. I want to see how this thing does a cable pair and length test on this short piece. So it's open. Yep, it's not long enough. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a longer piece of cable here. I've got two lengths. Now bear in mind I haven't calibrated. One length, the green one, is around 4 meters. So we plug it into main. It's not terminated on the other side. Okay, and we can go pair and length. It'll test. And there you've got your 3.7 meters. If we do it one more time, 3.7 meters. Although I haven't calibrated, it's pretty accurate. It's telling me that the cable is roughly 3.7 meters. Now, the grey cable, I believe, is around 5 meters. So let's just give that a go and see. 5.8, so it's probably a 6 meter cable. 5.8, and happy days. That's how you do your cable length tests with this unit. Now the next step, of course, is to check remotes, again using the WireMap dongle. So if you've got a long cable that you can't get to the other side, you'd plug your WireMap in on the one end, and into the main you'd plug your device again, and you would push WireMap, and it would test remote found, and everything is okay, no problems at all. So that's quite nice and definitely useful. Now as far as cable tracing goes, you've got a RJ45 scan, you've got an RJ11 scan and a USB scan. We're going to do the RJ45 scan. So you would connect this into the cable you want to trace, the jack box. There's also a set of crocodile clips if you prefer to use that on the RJ11 to connect to standard wires. You flick the scanning mode on, and you bring your tone in, and you can begin to trace out your cables, as you can see when it gets close. Now this toner has got a nice volume slider here. You push and hold, and then you can trace. Okay. It also does have a little torch if you're working in a dark cupboard or whatever the case may be. But a basic tone and probe functionality. Not quite on par with like the Fluke Networks devices, but you know what? This thing does a whole lot more than what that device does for a whole lot less money. So there you have the full range test of the NF308 NF308 network tester, or wire mapping network tester. Not a bad set at all. We're just going to take a look one more time how everything stores in the pouch. You've got your pouch. Your toner has its own little storage slot here. Your wire map device has its own little storage slot. And then of course your meter goes into the main storage slot, like so. Closes up. And it comes with that, like I say, that nice little carry bag for being able to move around with your equipment. So all in all, my review of it, a very nice piece of kit. We'll see how it holds up with time though. So the bottom line, can I recommend this kit? And again, what comes with. As you see, you've got all the different jumper cables. You get the headphones. You've also got a set of crocodile clips, so for clipping onto loose wiring. A really cool sort of carrying bag. The quality isn't great on this, but it's good enough. And then you have the equipment. Here you have the actual meter, NF308. Here you have the NF308S, which is the probe, just a push button operated probe. Here you have the WireMap dongle, NF308R. It's the remote receiver, or whatever you'd like to call it, remote unit, Cat5 and BNC. And then of course the main unit. The main unit being pretty complete in my opinion. For the scanning functions, you've got RJ45, the scanning meaning the wire tracing, RJ11 and USB. Then on the top over here for the wire mapping, You've got a loopback and a main, so in other words you can test a cable with just this device, and then of course you've got your BNC. If you're running out to the YMAP device, you'd use the main port. If you want to just test the cable, you could connect it across these two and do a loopback test on the cable. The display, what can I say? The display is crisp, it's sharp, it's clear and nice backlit, so it's quite usable. The meter does have a lot more functionality than what I'm talking about here. For example, if I read some of the information here, main functions of this unit are directly hunt, Cat5e, 6 telephone, coaxial, USB and other cables. So that's using the tone probe over here to do your wire tracing. Check wire errors such as open, short, jumper wire, reverse connections. So this unit will actually give you feedback if there's any sort of faults in the cable. Determine the distance of open and short circuits in your cable. Yes, it can do that if it's set up to do it properly, which I'm still going to learn. Length measurement, network cable and telephone cable length measurement. Automatically, time delay, shut off and backlight, so which means it basically switches off after a bit of a delay. Calibration, cable must be at least 10 meters. Okay, so if you look here on the box, they tell you, verify LAN cable condition, wire hunting and sorting, LED light for convenience. You can do BNC cable length tests, pretty much a whole bunch. On the spec here on the back, it's got a whole bunch of spec. It says LCD 53 by 25 with backlight. Tone frequency, that can't be right. Maximum distance of transmission 2 kilometers. Maximum distance of cable map 1,000 meters, 1 kilometer. Yeah, it's got a whole bunch. It's a two-tone. And if you go through there, they do specify that you shouldn't let this unit be connected to high voltages, so that's something to look out for. Don't connect it in a live network circuit. That would be bad for the unit. And like I said, these units are reasonably priced, but they're not dirt cheap, so you don't necessarily want to kill your new meter. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the basic review of this unit. I'll do a video of this unit in use in a test environment, busy going through looking and fault tracing, and you guys can decide for yourself. I'll also put it up against the Fluke Networks tone and probes. There are some advantages to the Fluke Networks stuff. I mean, they are Fluke Networks, so they've got some of the best stuff on the market, but this does have a lot more functionality for a much lower price, much lower price. So thanks for watching, guys.